Welcome back to another episode of the Lofty Lenders Homebuyer Education, where we explore tips, tricks, and real life stories to help you plan for your next home purchase. Whether you're a first time homebuyer, a move up buyer, an investor, upsizing, or downsizing, you're in the right place. Today's episode is all about a crucial mindset shift, why you need to look at your entire financial picture and not just the mortgage when buying a house. So, oftentimes, Charlie, people will call me up and they'll say, "Hey, I want to get pre approved to buy a house. What do I need to do?" And all they're thinking about on their mind is, I'm calling you to ask you about a house. What goes through your mind when they call and say that question?
I think it's you and I are on the same page for this. It is scary to think that people compartmentalize things so much because our finances and everything really intertwine, even though we think that they're, one piece here and one piece there. We try to find a way, or I especially try to find a way. I think you're with me. How do we get you to open up so we can talk about all those and make you less financially stressed and have a lot more benefit because all your pieces are working well together?
And I think the easiest question that opens that door is, well, how's your credit? Right? Because if somebody knows that they've got a lot of credit card debt, and there's definitely people that will admit to it, they'll say, well, I got a couple. Okay. So are you willing to talk about that? That's honestly, and you and I both agree on this. That's one of our favorite things to do, is to look at how can we help somebody not just improve on their home living situation, but also on their budget, right? You can now save $700 a month and not pay all that extra money towards credit card debt. Oh, and by the way, we maybe knock out some of that credit card debt. So now you just are in a better financial situation. I don't know about you, but I think budgets are great. And if we can improve your budget, let's do it.
Yeah. And everybody tends to do a good job in their own mind that they're going to allocate X amount of dollars for something. Good job. The hard part about that is if you don't know what other options look like or how you could improve a situation, then you don't know. I think I correlate by playing chess. I don't know if you have the same story, but some people don't like chess at all. Some people are really good at chess, and you can find different ways to play that game or any other game. The better you are at the game, the better the results and the less the stress. And that's where we're really good at that financial game and the budgeting and the credit to help give some fairly easy answers and suggestions that a lot of people just don't know are available.
Exactly. So, you can think of your mortgage as one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And that's what Charlie and I are talking about. You've got your monthly cash flow. You've got hopefully your emergency savings, your retirement planning, the debt we were just talking about, including student loans, your car payments, your credit cards, whatever else may come to mind with that debt. And then also your lifestyle choices. I mean, Charlie and I always talk about, we don't want you to be house broke. We don't want this house to be the only thing that you're working for every single day so that you can afford to pay your mortgage. You should be keeping a mortgage payment that's reasonable for you so that every day when you're working and you're thinking about that vacation, you can afford to take that vacation. You can afford to get away. Everyone needs a mental break. It's impossible to go without that little vacation.
And having money set aside for just challenges that come up. I mean, it's great to set aside for the fun stuff, but sometimes the fun stuff gets taken over by the emergencies. And so really just starting that emergency fund or understanding how you can do things a little bit differently than what you were aware so you can get to that goal easier, smoother, not have it feel like it's just, out there and someday I'll deal with it. We really want to tackle them sooner than later so you're in great shape.
So imagine you're going on a road trip and only checking your car to make sure that it has enough gas, but you ignore the tire pressure, the oil levels, GPS, computer systems, that check engine light. You're just ignoring all of it, right?
The snack bag,
Yeah, well, that's my wife. She definitely needs that snack bag. She's always got more snacks in the car than we have anything else. But that's what it's like, only focusing on your mortgage and ignoring the rest of your financial situation. I actually lost a client, actually, just giving you a story here. I had lost a client because I told them it didn't make sense to just focus on the mortgage. We need to look at all the rest of your debts. And they wanted to put 20% down. Their credit wasn't good enough to get outside of FHA. So they needed to go with an FHA loan. With 20% down on an FHA loan, you still pay mortgage insurance. So there really is no reason to put that 20% down with an FHA loan. However, it was in their mind. It was what they were told, that they needed to put 20% down and they can just ignore the other debts. And so they had a boat, they had an ATV, they had credit cards, they had all this other stuff. And we could have knocked out a ton of that stuff by only putting 3.5% down. They still would have had the mortgage insurance that they were going to have in the first place. And they would have ended up in a better financial picture. But because I didn't just do what they asked for, called somebody and said, they actually went online, did a couple of clicks, and the computer will do whatever you tell it to.
Click me,
So
buy me, go, go, go.
it was really frustrating because I just wanted to see them improve their lifestyle so that they could afford more stuff.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest things. We all get this preset idea when you've planned and you have a goal, and having a goal of 20% down, that's awesome. I mean, the fact that they had it, that's a huge accomplishment. But at the same time, being able to convey that, you and I have the same struggles. I had one same way. We had a lot of money available, and they had other people chirping in their ear that it was better to do more down on the house. And it can be, but I'm with you. Most of the time, that other debt is more stressful, higher rates, higher payments. My favorite mix is if we can get rid of all that stuff, one, you have less to stress about each month, but a lot of times we can get a shorter term mortgage. So you have all that debt gone. People forget that it's like, you don't have to have a 30-year loan. That's what most people do, but you could do a 25 or a 20. Maybe you're lucky enough to get down to 15 years. And then the light at the end of that tunnel, it's like, wow, that wasn't even on our list. So it is hard to break that path of, where someone's goal set was sometimes, but it's worth it. And I think you and I do the same thing. Like, we'd rather lose one or two because we didn't just do exactly what somebody said. We're trying to show them other options. I mean, it's their money. They get to pick what they want, but even showing sometimes, it's hard to get over that hump if you're not used to it.
And I think to this point so far in this episode, I've been thinking about purchase, but ultimately rates are starting to get better, right? And so refinancing is on the bubble. Some people are starting to do that right now. They're taking advantage of lower rates while they're here. Who knows how long they last? Maybe they get better, maybe they don't. Everybody assumes that rates are going to get better, but they assumed rates were going to get better when rates got to 7, and they stayed at 7 for quite some time. So seeing that, people have all these other debts. I mean, I've heard some ridiculous statistics lately that I think we have more credit card debt than we've ever had in the history of the country, which makes sense. Everything's just more expensive. You have the ability to get approved for more, that kind of stuff. You got more equity in your home than ever before. So there's just all these things out there. And so when Charlie and I get your information, we find out, okay, you got $40,000 in credit card debt and you've got enough equity in your house. Does it make sense to do a refinance, or does it make sense to do a line of credit? Or maybe you take out a line of credit to pay off everything and we clean you up and maybe we need to work on credit. Like, there's just so many different scenarios and everyone's a little different. And I think oftentimes people think, well, I'll call Kyle if I want to do a first mortgage refinance. But if I need to get a line of credit, I'm going to call someplace else that doesn't have a clue what's going on with my financial picture so that I can take care of that there.
And I think that's the biggest challenge. We see so many of our peers, you have bankers doing home equities, you have bankers doing first mortgages, but they do a lot of other stuff, and they're not doing a bad job necessarily, but they only offer what they offer. And if that institution doesn't offer it, they don't say anything. If they do offer it, they maybe just have, here you go, here's the one way we offer it. And to their defense, that's what they're told to do. That's how they're trained. That's not how we're trained. Like, we're here to get options on the table, show you what's there, open your eyes to something you maybe knew about or didn't understand, and maybe you didn't know about it at all, and then you get a pick. That's the best part, but there's lots of details, and it's really hard. You and I were talking about this the other day, and a little bit of a squirrel, but we can Google search anything. Our biggest concern is not the answer you get. Was the question the right question? And if you don't know what's available, it's really hard to ask the right question, and so it's a little bit of a retrain, and you got to take a step back, see the bigger picture, and then you can take that step forward again.
Yeah, and like talking about things that you don't offer, we don't offer, we do offer. Ultimately, we're looking at your situation from every angle on this. And Charlie and I both work with a lot of other local lenders that we trust. We work with other people that can do maybe a better job than what we've seen done nationally. We work with people that they're good people, right? And they have good products that help you out. And so we're always looking.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
There's little things that not everybody offers. Yeah, totally.
And there's some things we can't offer, but we know of people that can offer those products as well. So that's really our biggest thing, is we want to be a resource for you so that you can, it's a one-stop shop. I called up Kyle. Kyle wasn't able to do this, but he got me in contact with somebody. They handled it, that kind of stuff. So that's really what we're really aiming for when we look at budgets and we're looking at the overall picture. And Charlie and I have always said that we don't care about this house. We care about the house after this house, right? So you're coming to us to buy this property. Well, let's put you in the best financial position so that this isn't your forever home because you got stuck in it. This is your this is my current home, and next home's going to be much bigger and much more expensive.
It is easy for us to plan in the future. Most people have a hard time planning just really what's at hand or what's going to happen in next month or a couple months out. We don't always talk about it, but we're thinking about it. So we can help you get the right answer that's going to keep you down the right path versus kick you in the shins. And I think that's a major, major difference between us and most other places. Most other places are going to fill one need. It may not even be what you thought. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to help you out. We're going to make sure you're in great shape.
I feel like we're just beating a dead horse here on this, but not only are the rates higher, right? Inflation costs are still growing. I read something today that said inflation is going to artificially look lower than it actually is just because of some of the other things that are going on in the market. Your utility bills are going up. Your grocery bills are going up. Your gas bill, who knows? That seems like it goes up and down every other day. But everything is just getting more and more expensive. And so when you're looking at the monthly budget, we're not looking at just the mortgage. We're looking at, are you in a position that if those other things go up, you're not going to be broke? And that's really the biggest thing for us.
You got it. And we're going to help take a lot of that load off of you. You don't have to do all the separate thinking. If, you can just dump stuff to us, then we can talk about the few pieces that are important right now, but have your best interest at heart. And it's a big difference. I mean, we focus on long-term success for you and for us because those referrals are our lifeline. That's how we get paid, is doing good loans and products for people at the right time. Sometimes that's just helping out the loan, 2-3 years down the road. And that's okay. We focus on totally different methods than a lot of people who are focused right here and right now. I just want to get you in and out. We want you happy, successful.
And to reiterate on that, you and I just had the conversation the other day about back when rates were high, we were still thinking about what's in the best position for the customer. Should we buy the rate down? Should we not buy the rate down? Should we go with whatever? We were looking at it for the best position of the customer and not necessarily the best position of us making sure that we get paid, right? I'm not saying I want to get paid 5 times on your loan, make you refinance all the time. I want you to buy the house and never have to talk to me again because you're in the greatest financial position you can be. And if rates happen to get better and you need to refinance, I'll be here. But I don't want you to have to spend all that extra money. And we did all that. And now I get a lot of people that are just, rates are not improving enough for us to refinance because we started off in a good position. I really shot myself in the foot by doing that, but it was better for the customers.
Right. And, a lot of times people are trying to refinance for such a small savings. We don't just do that. Okay, we're going to answer the question like, what? If it hits this point, it makes sense. Otherwise, you've got a great setup. We're not here just to close a deal to make a buck if it's not mutually beneficial. Your benefit is much more important than ours.
So to wrap this up then, 3 actionable takeaways as always. First off, review your full budget. Charlie and I love to look at budgets. In fact, the reason that I work with Charlie now is because 10, 15 years ago, something like that, it was a long time ago, Charlie was doing my mortgage and he sat down and went over my entire budget with me. And I thought, oh my gosh, how does this guy get paid? Like, I want to do that and be able to just sit and help people with spreadsheets and budgets. And this just sounds amazing. And here I am. Now we're doing it. Review your full budget. Ask, what do you want your life to look like? Do you want to be in a really big house that maybe is really tight for you, but you spend a lot of time in your house? Or do you not really want to be in your house much and maybe you just need to find something that's just a place to sleep at night? So think about your budget, think about what you want your life to look like. And then finally, reach out to Charlie and I. Ask somebody who can see the full picture. Talk to your CPA, your CFA, people that are out there that are looking at your entire portfolio of finances. We've got a lot of those referrals that we can give out as well for people that we trust on that kind of stuff. But reach out. We're here to talk.
100%. Love it.
All right. So just because you can buy at a certain price doesn't mean you should. Look at your whole financial picture, and a thoughtful plan leads to long-term wealth, not just short-term approvals. So we hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it valuable today. Be sure to like us on social media platforms and subscribe to the podcast for more exciting episodes. And remember, stay curious. We'll see you next week on The Lofty Lender.